All right. Hi, everybody. This is Todd Fabus with another FacilitiesNet.com podcast. And today I am joined by two guests, actually. So we get bonus material. With us today, we have Brian Whalen, who is the owner and president of Roof Resources. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Todd.
And Richard Kroc, the principal of Vichlor Advisors, both who are consultants for the Coating, Fabrics, and Films Association, the Vinyl Roofs Division. And you can check out that at vinylroofs.org, exactly as it's spelled. I don't think I need to spell that one. So, well, first and foremost, guys, thanks for joining me and carving out some time to talk about roofing and how it can be something that, every facilities manager needs it, right? As they say, everyone needs a roof. So glad you guys could join and carve out some time.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
So, in general, like what should building owners and facilities managers know about roof membrane recycling? Like, for example, where does it apply and how do they know if their roof is a candidate for recycling?
So Todd, I'll go first. It's Brian. So first, I think part of this is that building owners and facilities managers are not even aware that their roof can be recycled. So we're hoping that this podcast will raise a little bit of awareness on this subject. Recycling of roofing has happened back to the 1990s, but there's some significant momentum. So we're here today to really talk about why someone would recycle. And you asked the question really about what are the ideal candidates. So first, let me start with, this is commercial roofs, basically flat or low sloped roofs.
Sure.
It's already been decided
Sure.
that the roof it's a re-roofing opportunity. So either there's two options there. One is that the roof is going to be torn off and replaced. And if that's the case, they're already tearing the roof off. So it's actually pretty simple to recycle certain elements of the roof itself. And then the other option is when they re-roof over the existing roof, but what they do is what they call skin. They take the single ply membrane off of the roof, which provides a number of benefits. One, it exposes the insulation for the roofer to see whether it's in good condition, and if it's dry, they can leave it in place. And the other benefit of kind of skinning that roof is that you're able to recycle it. And it's a much easier, kind of process, and allows the owner in the next re-roofing cycle, 20, 30 years down the road, it gives them many more options to what the owner can do in that next cycle renovation of the re-roof. So what part of your question was, what is a good candidate?
Yeah.
So the ideal candidate is really, again, it's a re-roofing situation. It's a single ply membrane. In particular, we're going to talk about PVC because PVC has been recycled for a long, long time. You can take that PVC roof off and recycle it very easy if it's a mechanically attached roof system. So again, re-roofing, mechanically attached PVC, those are great candidates for recycling projects.
That is fascinating, just because like how you kicked that off about how recycling of the roofing's been around since the 90s, you said. Like it seems like such an obvious candidate, but something I feel like is not really in the mainstream. So it's cool to talk about.
Let me just add a little bit onto that, Todd.
Yeah, please.
Brian started off by saying that PVC roof membrane recycling has been ongoing for quite some time. And he's right. It's been ongoing since the late 1990s and early 2000s. And in that period of time, the Coated Fabrics and Films Association began recording roof membrane recycling around 2014. So in the past 12 years, there's been an accumulative amount of about over 20 million pounds of post-consumer PVC roof membrane recycled. So that's a big number.
It's huge.
And when you look at what has been done just this past year, we had over 145 projects roofing projects that is equivalent to an estimated 22 million square feet of post-consumer roof membrane recycling. So it's a very robust activity within the PVC roof industry, and I wanted to point that out, that if you do have a PVC roof, there are a lot of contractors that are doing this. There's a lot of building owners that are doing this and considering it. And we have a long history of it. So, as Brian mentioned, the vinylroofs.org is a great place to start.
Yeah.
Coated Fabrics and Films Association website, Vinyl Roof Division website has a lot of useful information. And of course, the roof manufacturer is your best resource to reach out to on how to get started on a roof membrane recycling project.
Great. Thanks for chiming in. Appreciate it. I mean, so why should a building owner agree to recycle their old PVC roof? I mean, it seems like an obvious next question, right?
Sure. Let me pick that one up. First of all, it's the right thing to do. We're trying to, as a society, become more sustainable.
Right.
And recycling your old roof is a sustainability initiative that building owners, and particularly in the built environment, are paying far more attention to becoming more sustainable, reducing their carbon footprints, and taking the lead on these types of things. Tenants in rented space want to see their building owners be responsible to the environment, and they're demanding leased space that requires sustainability initiatives by the building owner. This is an easy one, in Brian and I's opinion, and if you talk with your PVC roof manufacturer, they'll say this is something that we can do. It's a sustainability practice, and why a building owner should do it. It's the right thing. It's more sustainable. It conserves resources. We're all about conserving resources these days. And there can be some other benefits if the building has any type of a green building certification. And
sure,
we're working on other avenues right now to make sure folks get some type of certification for recycling their roof.
Yeah, everybody, that was, just in case everyone isn't totally familiar with our voices as of yet, that was Richard Kroc taking that question, who is the principal of Viclor Advisors. So thanks. Brian, did you want to jump in? I kind of feel like I almost cut Rich off on my first thing I tossed at you guys. So you wanted to add to that one?
No, I think that Rich covered it, exactly correct. It's the right thing to do, and we're starting to see owners be more interested in this whole discussion about circularity and reducing their carbon footprint. So again, I think that Rich really covered it very well there. We're seeing a big upside to the recycling, and the momentum is building here.
Thank you. What are the steps? You're talking about the recycling here. What are the steps to the old PVC roof? To recycling the old PVC roof, and I don't know, how you guys kind of alluded to this, but how much will it cost to recycle that old roof?
So let me take the steps first, because if we remember what we just talked about, it's a re-roofing opportunity. So many of the same basic steps, the same amount of labor goes into tearing the roof off. And what typically happens today, it's been going on for centuries, they just throw it into the dumpster and then it goes to the landfill. Right. So it's pretty simple, and that's the way that people have been brought up in roofing, the way that they've done it. This is a little bit of a different mindset, and the difference is that the new membrane arrives on these pallets with cardboard cores in them. These pallets that were sent to the job with the new membrane can be used for the old membrane, taking it off. So they slice the membrane up in manageable sizes. They typically roll them up. They put them back on that pallet. Then that's another one additional step. The other step is they have to lift it off the roof, typically onto a flatbed that's there to send it to the recycler. So there's really no more than a couple of steps involved here. So and again, if it's a mechanically attached roof, it's really very simple. Rather than throwing it in the dumpster, you package it a little bit, you put it on the pallet, and it goes. All right.
Yeah.
And all the coordination, the pickup and the delivery to the recycler, that's all coordinated, so that the roofer or the building owner doesn't have to, worry about really, any of that. You had mentioned cost. Now, a cost is a variable. Every job, every roofing job is different. You talk to every roofer, right? The job is complex. The buildup of the roof is different. The height of the building is different. The logistics of where you can load the materials are different. So there's no one answer. Again, our suggestion is if you know you have a candidate, price the job out. In other words, on your bid form, break out a line item. Say, how much more is it going to cost me for me to bundle and package and recycle the roof? It's normally a very, very small additional amount of money, but you also are saving money on the dumpster and on the
Yeah.
landfill costs. Okay. So I'm not saying it's cost neutral, but we're not talking about a lot of money here for a lot of key benefits and advantages for the building owner.
On what Brian said, to put it in the bid, Brian and I created a guide specification, which is available on the CFFA Vinyl Roof Division website. So it's a very simple text that a consultant or contractor can add into the bid form, and that's available on the VRD website, vinylroofs.org.
And you're right, it is very easy to find because I have it up on my screen. So
There
you're
you
right.
go.
It's very user friendly. And I mean, honestly, what I was going to say is it just like, sure, I know I asked you guys the question, but it just seems like it's really not that more complicated or to recycle the roof. Like you just alluded to it, Brian. It just seems like, I don't know, I'm almost like surprised that like it's like explaining to somebody why they shouldn't be recycling their paper in the office, right? Like it just seems like a really natural thing to do, I guess, and it doesn't seem like really any more complicated than, like you said, than having to get a big dumpster in your parking lot. And
Maybe one other thing, Rich, we should mention too is that what we found early on was that many people, when they don't know how to do it, they get nervous about it and they add additional costs to it. So one of the things that we did is we created an animated video, which again is on the website, which explains all the bundling and packaging steps. And in this animated video, which is 3 minutes long, explains to a contractor, how to do it, explains to a building owner, kind of understanding how it's going to work on his building. So we found that to be a great tool. And the more we do, I mean, it's just like anything. The more we do it, the more expensive, the more we're going to get used to it. Right now, again, awareness is one of the issues. But the second part of it is that not everybody's doing it. And they add some additional costs just as a buffer into it. And I think the more that they do it, the more the costs are going to come down.
Well, and I think you hit on something pretty interesting there too, on kind of alluding to, and if I heard you right, like you've got messaging for the building owner and messaging for like the contractor, because there can be a little bit of a gap there, kind of contractor, the facility manager, facility director might say, hey, let's do this. And the building owner might look at that and just be like, what we've been doing it this way for years. So that's smart that you break it down like that.
The other part of this too is most people don't understand where the material is recycled or what it goes into. So, when you put plastic items out at the curb or metal or paper, everybody knows it goes to the local material recovery facility. With roofs, it goes to a small network of highly skilled recyclers. It doesn't go down to your local material recovery facility or the people that recycle plastics.
Yeah.
These are highly specialized facilities that focus on PVC, and the material can get recycled back into roof membranes, into the underside of roof membranes, or can be used in walkways on roofs. Non-roofing applications or applications like flooring. We've got one company that takes it back and reprocesses it into flooring, which is another 15 to 20 year life type product. Some goes into concrete expansion joints, another building product. So there's a lot of avenues that the material can be used in. And we've got a lot of this information outlined on the CFFA website. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's not like a black hole. These are applications right back in the building industry that this material goes back into.
I should have asked you that question earlier, actually. I'm glad you hit on it about, like, it's a different facility than when you toss your aluminum can in the, or the plastic bottle, like you said. Again, I'm talking with Brian Whalen, who is the owner and president of Roof Resources, and Richard Kroc, who is the principal at Viclor Advisors. And they are both consultants for the Coating Fabrics and Films Association Vinyl Roofs Division. And check them out. We've been mentioning the website. Great resources for if it's facilities manager, building owner. Go check out vinylroofs.org, exactly as it sounds and is spelled. Moving along, if you guys don't mind, how should a building owner or FM, the facility manager, plan now for their newly specified or installed roof, like to be a candidate to be recycled in the future? Like, is there anything they can do for that?
Sure. And that's a great question. So we're planning for the future. So what it can be is on a cycle renovation, we can build guide specifications for a cycle renovation that would involve adding a bid item for recycling the roof. So that's the first step. The second step, of course, is to make sure that the contractors are installing the roof with techniques that can promote recycling for the next cycle. So in some cases, facilities may want to what they call a re-roof, where they just put a new membrane over the old roof. Well, they may want to reconsider that. If they're upgrading their insulation, they can peel the old roof off, recycle it, and upgrade the insulation or evaluate the insulation for its efficiency and whether or not it's up to the latest codes. So by doing so, they can evaluate how do we put the next roof on that would facilitate its being recycled.
Do people still do that, the re-roof? Like, maybe that's just a residential thing where they kind of advise not doing that now, because if you went with a different manufacturer, they won't give you any sort of guarantee because they're putting work on top of someone else's work, type of thing. Maybe they still do that on the commercial level. Maybe that's just what I was told as a homeowner.
Yeah. Well, I think the one similarity between residential and commercial is that you can only put two roofs on. All right.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I had mentioned earlier that some people are skinning the original roof membrane off, keeping the insulation in place if it's in dry and good shape, adding a new roof. That's only considered to be one roof. So 20, 30 years later, they can actually still put another roof on it. Okay. So that's why that skinning is becoming even more and more popular. Really, again, trying to keep as much out of the landfill as possible. And insulation is so big, so bulky. It's the most expensive part of the roof today. Why not keep that energy-saving product in place if it's in dry and good shape? That's all part of this philosophy, that we have here. And I think, again, as far as recommendations for a building owner today, looking at the future, a mechanically attached PVC roof has already been recycled for well over 20 years now. It's approaching 25 years.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty safe to install a mechanically attached PVC roof today, specify it today, with the thought process that at the end of its service life, it will be able to be recycled. So that's really kind of the key message here. Is there roofs that are relatively simple and good candidates to recycle? Consider that when you're writing your spec for either a new construction job or your re-roofing job.
Yeah, thanks for chiming in on that. And honestly, I did not realize how long we've been talking. Apparently, it's been a good convo. But if you guys wouldn't mind, you wouldn't mind taking one more question I had jotted down, or case studies available to review to see how other building owners have benefited from this. So kind of like testimonials, I guess.
Sure, sure. I mean, again, we've mentioned the website a number of times, but if you
Yeah.
go to vinylroofs.org, there's sustainability success stories in there, including the recycling success stories. So we would encourage that you look at it. But just in general, you have people that are schools, hospitals, very interested about circularity and kind of environmental aspects of their building. Big box retailers are doing a lot of recycling of PVC
Yeah.
roofing. Food and beverage companies, warehouses and distribution centers, huge projects, and high profile jobs. Just one I'll touch base on: the Sky Dome, the Toronto Sky Dome, the
Yeah.
baseball stadium.
Yeah.
That roof was a PVC roof, 30 years old. It was damaged by ice falling from a building up above it. Actually went right through not only the roof, but also through the roof deck. Fortunately, there was no inside the building. So 30 years later, they recycled that PVC membrane into new PVC membrane. So, the possibilities are just fantastic with this. So we hope that, your audience is getting, more aware of what the possibilities are.
Man, we could have that story about this guy down there, the what's it called now, the Rogers Center or something. And that could have
It's the
we could have
Rogers
gone
Center, yeah.
we could have gone a whole segment on like sporting roofs,
Yes.
like horror stories, like and I don't know, Richard, did you want to take us home?
Well, as Brian mentioned, there's lots of success stories either in the public or private sector. Public being some buildings like schools and municipal buildings. They, in a lot of cases, have directives for their municipalities to improve their sustainability of their property. Particularly like the U.S. government, GSA, Government Services Association buildings, they all have initiatives. But in the private sector, PVC is used widely in the food industry for restaurants, fast foods, because it is so resilient to and durable under conditions like grease and other food type substances that might come in contact with the roof through the vents around kitchens and food prep.
Sure. Yeah.
And there are just literally tens of thousands of restaurants, and these are all good candidates for recycling.
Yeah.
We do like to have a larger roof naturally. Smaller roofs are still candidates. The average size of a PVC roof is about 25,000 square feet. Those roofs can all be recycled. So, when we start thinking about a building owner and they have a lot of properties, they don't just have to think about the large properties that are 100 to 500,000 square feet. They can look at their smaller properties too, smaller buildings. All these roofs add up, and there are ways to accumulate and aggregate some of the material in a local region in order to make it more economical to ship out to a recycler. So I just wanted to point that out, that all building sizes should be assessed or evaluated for their potential for recycling. And it's a process that should start when the facilities manager or the building owner begins to go out looking for a cycle renovation. Who are they going to hire? Why they're going to hire that contractor? These are all factors that a contractor that steps forward or a building consultant steps forward and says, here's how I can improve your sustainability, is have you thought about recycling your roof? And these are factors that are differentiating factors. And something that Brian and I both advocate for is putting the recycling question into the bid item.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, guys. I personally think for you, dear listener, that these guys just put out a terrific amount of content, pertinent content for everyone to consume and consider. So again, this was another FacilitiesNet podcast, and we're joined today by Brian Whalen, who is the Roof Resources owner and president, and Richard Kroc, who's the Viclor Advisors principal. They both are industry consultants for the coating, Fabrics and Films Association, Vinyl Roofs Division. And the website, as we've mentioned plenty of times, but vinylroofs.org. Yeah, exactly what they said. It's very easy to click around and look at sustainability or recycling. And hope everybody enjoyed it. And thanks again so much for your time and staying long, guys. I don't think you were expecting to stay on this long, so I greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Doug.
all right. Take care, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.